Yeah, right. '46, we are here for our City of Liberty regular session, July 13th at the Rosewood. Councilman, would you open up the word of prayer?
Yeah. Villagers, thank you for a beautiful night. Thank you for everything you do for us and providing for this beautiful city. Let us all listen to each other and make wise decisions tonight. And again, thank you for allowing us to be here and be safe and keep us safe as we go on. I thank you for what you do. Just not great and
Right.
Student flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Here, do we have anybody signed up for public session? All right, next up, we have a presentation from Jeremy Price of United Way of Pickens County.
Good evening, Mayor Wagner, and members of the City Council. Thank you for allowing me a few minutes tonight. My name is Jeremy Price, and I serve with United Way of Pickens County. I am here tonight for one simple reason: to say thank you. Over the past few months, the City of Liberty and United Way have started building something meaningful together. It began with a simple question: how can we work together to better serve the people of Liberty? That question has led to action. We partnered with the City of Liberty to help the Liberty Community Exchange and host the Back to School Job Days event. United Way of Pickens County was able to acquire hygiene kits, socks, $1,000 for hygiene items, and 600 book bags. We began conversations about refreshing the Warren Marine Trail at Freedom Park. We also explored volunteer opportunities through Camp Ira and other local efforts that bring people together around real needs. We recently ran the City of Liberty's first ever workplace campaign with United Way of Pickens County. 13 employees chose to give through payroll deduction, contributing a total of $1,982. Thank you. That is an incredible start for a first-year campaign. We are grateful to every city employee who chose to give. Their support will have a direct impact on families and individuals right here. Every gift that is given to support our community through United Way of Pickens County stays right here in the county. I especially want to thank Mayor Wagner, Katie Seidel, Sierra Wilson, and the City of Liberty team members who helped coordinate these efforts. Their support, communication, and follow-through helped turn good ideas into real action. What encouraged me most is that this partnership is not built around one project or one campaign. It's becoming a relationship. United Way does not come to Liberty believing that we have all the answers. We come ready to listen, learn, and work alongside the people who know and love the community best. Liberty has a strong history of people looking after one another, and I want to repeat that statement. Liberty has a strong history of people looking after one. We are grateful for the opportunity to be part of that. This partnership was also personal to me. My grandfather was born right here at Liberty. My mother was born and raised here as well. So when I talk about serving Liberty, I'm talking about a community that's part of my family's history. I do have a couple of humble asks. One is that you continue to keep the door open to this partnership and help us identify places where United Way, city employees, volunteers, and community partners can be most useful. The second humble ask is that we have intentionally left the giving portal open for the workplace campaign. You have a bright yellow canary sheet in front of you. We are at 79% of the goal, and I'm asking if you feel led to help us reach that goal of $2,500 through workplace campaign giving. There's a QR code there, and then also if you feel more secure, you can go directly to our website. I promise you it takes 1 to 3 minutes. Anything that you can provide or give is greatly appreciated. And again, we'll go right back to Pickens County and the city of Liberty. I want to end by saying thank you for your leadership, your trust, and your service to the people of Liberty. We are grateful to be building this partnership. Thank you.
All right, up next, you have the approval of minutes. The first one up is June 8th, regular session. I hope everyone's had a chance to give those a look over. Do I have a motion on those approval of minutes? Councilman Wilson, and a second. Kathleen, and any discussion?
The answer question on the bottom of the third page, it says vote 2/5 no and 5/2 yes. What does that mean?
Looks like 2 were in favor. It should actually say, I think, 2 of 7 were no and 5 of 7. Eric, can you try that? It was on, yes.
It's fine.
Yeah, so it should be.
So.
Yes, I think it should be what? It was.
2 yes.
Yeah. 2 yes, 5.
So it's 3 yes. 2 yes.
2 yes, 5. We can approve the minutes with amendment.
So in the last meeting, I made the note that these AI, my assumption is the same. These are AI formatted minutes. Is that correct?
From this one. Some of them are, some of them are, I'm for the transcript, I mean,
The camera system.
It creates the transcript.
It does, and then we go back in and adjust things as needed. Correct. It's like a starting.
Because it's, again, the way that it's formatted and the way it uses it's questionable. Sometimes it has rambling on areas and then there's places that you expect it to have more information. It doesn't. This event or this format of having everything bulleted item and nothing being related to the comment either before or after.
Do we want?
It needs to be, well, this format needs to be revisited. You guys can do it. It needs to be revisited. In my opinion, it's difficult to read, it's difficult to follow. And,
All the information is there. You just want to work on the formatting.
I wouldn't say that, but I would say that, we should have a format. That I asked that in the last meeting,
We'll work on formatting. But other than that, everything's in there. You'll be able to read through everything. It's pretty in depth. There's a lot of information. I am happy about that though, with the software that comes with the new camera. It does give a really nice transcript. I would honestly say it's probably more than somebody could write quickly.
Sorry, I should have done on it, but you're right, it's a lot of information, it's a way to write it,
It is.
that's for sure. But, I just wanted to talk about that, because then when we get to the budget action taken, we have a budget action taken on this page, and then we go to it's postponed. And the reason I bring this up is because then in the next meeting, is we see the reference back to the budget action taken. So is it budget action? It's not a budget action, because reality is, this wasn't, vote, this wasn't hearing, this wasn't, this was because we postponed it, it continues on to the next meeting, right? So-
Right, those are the action items that wanted to be taken for the next week.
Yeah. This is becoming to make this appropriate, but I mentioned in this one about fire hydrants, and we still have fire hydrants that don't have anything new on, so I'd be interested. I didn't get an update in the fire hydrant side, so
We get to the department head reports. Yep.
maybe.
Yeah. Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. So other than the formatting, everybody good with approving with amendments to formatting going forward? Okay. So I'll go ahead and call for a vote. All in favor? I will take a note here as we work formatting. Okay. Next up is the approval of minutes of the June 16 special call session. Do I have a motion, for the approval of those minutes? Wilson. And a second? Julie? Any discussion on those?
So again, if you go to the previous meeting, and now this meeting, this says that it's a third reading of the budget proposal. We agreed it was not the third.
That was
vote.
And then down on the bottom, it says approved with amendments.
But it's still. I think it should have, but again, where's the amendments? The amendments are, we went from detail to zero detail. So you don't have any of the details of what the amendments are, what the discussion was, because I think that it's more than these three items.
I mean, it says revised after the first and second reading, so I think the assumption
We
is to go.
didn't have a second reading. This is part of the second. So it's all part of the second. Just making correct converge.
Technically, when you did have a second reading, you didn't have a second version.
Right.
This is still part of the second reading. It's all, the changes being made are still part of the second reading. Okay,
I didn't vote on, but
Just saying.
I don't think it's a big distinction.
words should be words. They
You know,
should
it's
talk.
one we can't have 10 readings or something. You know, as long as y'all are clear on what the readings, I mean, what the, it's been voted on. That's the important thing. And certainly, interactive too.
Needs to be active.
Thank you, Mr. Sword. There's anything out loud. Where ordinance said have two readings of punch law. I think it's what council said, they're doing things. Don't know that. So they,
So I think that's as important as I do to make sure that the verbiage is correct on documents. It's a legal document to have the meetings in there, correct? So it's part of the meeting, it's part of the action that we do, and they should be correct and proper. Just that's simple.
pull that. So we pull them back and
We can,
revise it.
we can go back a second.
We need time.
Or the
Representation.
special call session. Sure. All right, so we'll go ahead and postpone, all in favor of postponing the approval of minutes for the special call session until the next regular session.
Really, it's second.
I need a second motion.
You can make a motion.
Right, I'm making the motion. Yes, I'm making the motion to postpone the approval of minutes for the special call session. Do I have a second? And all in favor? Next. We have the approval of minutes from the July 7th work session. Do I have a motion on that? And a second? And any discussion? I know this was a pretty short session. I think the notes are pretty detailed for the short of that session.
Please, Ms. Patty, right.
Is it not in your packet?
Should we come back?
Uh, what? Or it's my subject. Yeah, it's from the last week. Any discussion on it at all? Would agree with on that? Okay, all in favor? All right, let's move on to the new business. First reading for the resolution approving matching funds for our grant. All right, this was what we discussed kind of loosely in the work session. We need to approve of a 20% match for the card grant. This was a project that Ms. Peggy Edwards and Coach Black worked on extensively together. I wanted to thank Coach Black. Peggy was going to try to be here, but she ran into some work stuff. I wanted to thank both of them personally for all the work. I know grants are a lot of work, a lot of paperwork. So I wanted to really just appreciate them for all of their hard work on this project for the city of Liberty. We loosely discussed this in the work session, as I mentioned. So I would just like to make a motion to adopt resolution number 2026-01, approving and committing to a 20% local match in the amount of $14,981 to an award of South Carolina Parks, Recreation, and Tourism Department card grant in the amount of $59,924 for the purpose of enhancing and renovating the playground at Freedom Park. So I'm going to make the motion and I'm going to call for a second. Councilman Wilson. Any discussion?
It's a time frame for this project, I'm just curious.
Coach, did you have a time frame for when they would start and finish the project?
And this big topic, right? I think some of them get approval, and we can get all kind of people there in time.
So we don't know what the money is treasured. We don't know what the money is available.
It's, we would be calling it the hospitality that we kind of loosely discussed that in the work session.
Money from the grant.
As soon as we show that we have the matching fund, they'll go ahead and put up their part.
I just have a question about, we have this, well, you're going to have a options period for.
That was the one that was chosen out of a whole bunch of different quotes. That is the kind of best fit the city in that space.
All right.
Yes, I do have a question, yes, so this is what you just quoted. Alright, so this will be the quote will go on, correct?
That
Because we're going to do the current policy.
the 1491, 59,924, that's the choice.
Okay, so we already looked at the current policy.
Correct.
Very good.
Yeah, Ms. Peggy made sure that she reached out to the advocates and said, make sure council knows, we follow all procurement policies, everything is dotted and crossed and everything. Any additional discussion? All right, all in favor of the 14,981 hospitality fund balance to the award for the card grant? All right. It is. It is. It's amazing. Very excited about that. The first of May. We have no old business. We'll go ahead and move into, in your packets, you should have the city financial report. And moving into department head reports, Coach Black.
Way up on the financial report, we have questions to do some of it.
Can you email the initial line to get to the accounts? Yes.
All right, hey, I'm Mark, just have to start off with, talk about Lakewood Heights. I reached out to John Schuman, I know that a lot of you, some of y'all may know him, but he's like Oklahoma County Director, Recreation Department, and I was talking to him to give me some, insight to how to do a master plan for Freedom Park, which Katie, something that y'all want me to give myself for Freedom Park, and try to have a good facility. And so with me still learning, I reached out to him to develop a master plan and learn the specs and things like that. We got into the subject of talking about the Lakewood Heights course. He's been around long enough to live in the neighborhood for a very long time. He told me that he's pretty certain that it was land water conservation fund. So when I reached out to Ms. Deborah Jordan the first time, she sent me back an Excel sheet stating showing that there was 3 grants that was listed on that, for the city of Liberty. So when I went and looked at the facilities, just check the signage and make sure that they had signage in each area. Lakewood Heights did not have one, did not have a sign. And so I assume, which I know what assumption is, but I assume that Liberty Park 3 that's listed on that account was the dugout park, because the dugout park is one, and then I knew that the other 2 grants was listed for Mills Avenue. So I knew that we had a signage. We had 2 signages, one for the dugout and one for Mills Avenue. So now, just having that conversation with him, I reached back out to Ms. Deborah Jordan in Columbia. She gave me the physical address of the location of Liberty Park 3. That's what we got at least at. And which is in Lakeview, in the corner of Lakeview and Hillman. And so I thank Mr. Shelley for having me to go back and recheck to make sure that he didn't want us to get into any trouble regarding with the process going on forward that we supply. So that being said, it is a Lakewood water conservation grant, and so we have to do something, and it's the grants clearly state that you have to maintain it. Mary Wagner was going to be to reach out again to see if there was a time frame attached to that grant. And that grant was awarded in 1978, I believe. And I wasn't even born. So I reached out to Ms. Deborah again and asked her if there was a time frame attached to that. And all she came back was perpetuity. So my next question was that can we get a copy of all this documentation? Since I have started, we do not have documentation on a lot of things. So once we get there, we'll make sure I put in a secure location. Then we have that in the future plans for anybody else. They know that these 3 properties are you cannot touch them, but you have to maintain them. And so the question that the next question that I think we need to think about is, do we want to try to invest in our money to have the courts redone completely, or do we want to just put lipstick on the pig, work to be Mr. Dean Ray and just have to resurface, which is another possibility. We had already took steps to purchase some items for it, like the new tennis court, net and poles and basketball goes for the location. So we have that. It just we need to come up with a master plan and review it and come up with some specs and things like that to try to figure out where do we want to go with it. And I know Mr. Shelley said that me and him will get together Thursday evening, about 6 or 7, And we're gonna walk that property of Freedom Park and they gonna walk, Lakewood too. So I can get more clear understanding where we need to go with it. Yeah, so I know, I have a long time relationship with them, so that's what I want to get that right. So I apologize, and I told, Katie and Mary, said it's totally my fault, I should double check. But that's a growing pain to learn. Learn things that way, and we know learn to try not to make that mistake again. So going forward, that's something that we got planned. I have already been working on the master plan, and specs and things like that, but I feel that I think it should not only be me or the city administrator or anything like that. I think it should be about 2-3 people that can come on this small committee of a, master plans. And before we go forward, therefore we can all be on the same page in the future. So we will go through this, then we can develop checklists and whatever we need to do to be able to nail it down to what we need to get done. And that's something that I learned from Kevin Schumann. Questions about that?
Have you heard from anybody in the community or kids what they would like to have there or what the interest is for?
If
For
I
the
heard
people in the community, I've not heard anything. I know Plato Heights, I've heard a few people say they want to keep it,
yeah,
but not what they think they not like to have there, or keep it a tennis court, or maybe something else.
I have not heard anything personally besides that one individual reached out to me about batting cages, that like the fact that there are batting cages over there. The future plan that I would like to see, because that population, if you have been in that area recently, it's converting over to younger adults than it is the older population. I hate to say this, but they're kind of phasing out. And that neighborhood is converting into a younger population. Just from you riding through that neighborhood and watching it. So the question is, do we want to try to fix right now, or we want to prepare for 5 to 10? And so my thing is like, I'm always trying to prepare for 5 to 10 because right now it's a quick fix here, so we got to maintain it. The last time they've been inspected was in 2018, but if we really gonna take heed to this property, I'm looking at the future as being let's fix what we can now, and then try to invest in fixing, putting a small playground to make it more family friendly in that area. So, yeah, multiple use. So that space, it's really realistically, that space is really limited to what you can do with it. And we don't have to make it accessible for ADA and handicap accessibility. Parking spaces need to be put in some type of way. So it's gonna take time. This is not gonna be able to fix. I did a lot of thinking about what I would like to do for that area within my time frame that I'm gonna be. So, that's something that we just got to prepare for in the future. Right now, so that we're not getting in trouble with South Carolina, following and things like that, we got to come up with a solution quick as possible. Now that we are on her radar, last time she inspected the area in 2018. So, once you ask me questions, somebody will come answer. That's always been there. So, and I wouldn't be surprised if they send somebody ahead, and if they see the condition that it is now, we all know it's trouble. Not just me, but right now, I'm just a cleaning crew. This is long done, just going on before my time. So that's kind of like, you need to fast track as much as possible. I'm willing to anybody, anytime, y'all, I'll stay 3 minutes everywhere in this location. And the city living, if anybody want to come out and walk and look at it or talk about it and try to figure out what we need to do to come up with a plan, I am all for it. I can't do it all on myself. Simple thing.
Got a couple neighbors, I'm sorry. I do got a couple neighbors, people asking a lot of questions about it. I'll make sure that you can, I think, be part of the process and what they're thinking about it. That's fine. I always look at both anytime I'm thinking about Parks and Rec. If you understand, what do you think? I'm not an athletic guy. I'm still with you. We're going to do cheaper.
I just asked when y'all do share my number. A lot of y'all,
I'm going to share your city.
yeah, thank you. That's what I said. A lot of y'all have my personal number, and a lot of times y'all share that number out. And I get phone calls
that all particularly like to get, we got two residents that are really, it's been traumatic. Maybe they can share some of their vision.
And that's what we need, because like at the end of the day, that neighborhood is, like I say, you live relatively very close to that neighborhood. And you can see it's changing. I just noticed the change.
Do we still have the fencing and all until now?
Yes, sir, we kept all the fence. We set all the fence in, so it was not visible. We set that to the side, our plan is to do the course and then the city, mid-avenue, and then the club horses gonna get together, and put it back together and stuff like that. That saved us some points too.
We appreciate you being here.
Oh, no problem.
Did we? Finalize the rec department committee. Wasn't there a committee that you were trying to?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, that is correct. We never got back to, got to circle around back to it, because that committee, that's something else that I have put on my notation, is that we do need to revisit that again at some point, sooner than possible. Like I said, everything is like, I want to revisit that because this falls under that category. This is a situation that falls in that category. And, we want to be able to, revisit that so I can continue to work on the policies and procedures that we do not have for athletics. I will finish that, so that the committee is going to be part of that as well to help. Let's steer this through and get through it together and to make it concrete for everybody. We gotta have, this is my biggest thing, as I said at the day one, I'm trying to establish a foundation that we have, the concrete foundation that we can build off of. Right now, our foundation is not strong. We gotta make a good foundation. We gotta have a good foundation to where we can build and be stronger.
So I think that the thing that Bowen put out there, trying to encourage, I'm saying it because I remember hearing you talk about it, was to get that kind of committee moving. And this would be, like I said, it's a great example of a solution that could come not just from you. So you don't have to take the shoulder and pressure of that. You can work with people that would be like-minded that recreation department. And you could get a great solution for the city. I think that's the right way to do it. So I look forward to seeing you.
So I think, we talked about it, I would say, it is May or June, but we have the budget going on, and we have a lot of events going on for July, so kind of got to keep it underneath the rug for a little bit, but I know that he wants to get that going. As far as sports, I mean, I don't know, we talked about different things. I know at Jimmy Red Owens, they have like a really nice thing right there in the middle, they have like covered batting cages and so forth, so maybe that's something we can use, maybe already have one batting cage, maybe we cover half of that. You know, asphalt kind of saves some of it, and then maybe have one side looks like basketball, and you can have a little training facility over there, something.
Yeah, that's just another idea that I was talking about. We just kind of get together separately and sit down and try to figure out that. I mean, it's the possibility of this, but like right now at this point, we gotta look at what we need to take care of right now. And like I said, you do not want to live in Columbia becoming expected this. You know, we gonna complain about 40, it may be 140 if she come up here and see some of these things. So we gotta, right, plus right now, that's the take priority over that. And then we can come together, once we get that taken care of, we come together, let's develop a master plan to let's kind of figure out how we want to do this and make it work. So batting cage and stuff like that covered, I mean, that's just putting some over top of it, what was what we have now. Make an application to it.
Well, I'm just saying, like, instead of having tennis court, just split it up, maybe half, do like basketball.
Okay, it's gonna be split regardless.
Yeah, do like basketball and then put a cover, and that way it kind of saves the asphalt from breaking up. And I'm just thinking if we just recirculate, like not fully recirculate, reseal it, I was talking about. And just, I'm out, that's everybody's decision, that's what I'm.
Yes, yeah.
Is the asphalt cracked up enough where the seal won't work?
Some gaps, about an inch wide, different places where.
But I'm not an asphalt person, I mean, so that's not my problem. That'd be for us to contact somebody else to come out. Besides the 3 that we have already contacted, I would no longer contact those. But my plan is to incorporate the city engineer to have them come out and go out and assess the property. I believe I have made up my mind where I would not be contacting and getting too close as much. We have the city engineer go out and do that part for us, because it's gonna be written up and followed eventually, and he knows what we need to do and how much it's gonna cost. So that's just, I think that's the best way to go, and it kind of keeps, friends or things like that, and people that kind of know you, from doing, trying to give you certain things, and ask you certain questions. Sometimes a lot of people feel like they owe something, not be in this situation, so I'd rather go through the other one. So we have someone come out, we set that up, have someone come out and assess it, and then we go with it.
Thanks, Howard. That type of grant was for outdoor public recreation. So I don't know if you have to use band pages or not.
Not generally, no.
I don't know how that works, whether it's limited to TVs, that kind of thing. That's something to keep in mind. The other thing is, if you're gonna have a committee, council needs to create the committee and then appoint members. Which is pretty easy, we can work that out. But you might want to think about the purposes and the mission. Be able to help coach.
I will take it on the August work session agenda, but it's like so long. We'll definitely try to get it on next week.
Do we know what the average maintenance would be on back pages? What's to go in?
You said bag cake machine, I think you just talking in general, just turn it, convert it to a bag cake machine. That is,
Standard back page instead of the machine.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna talk.
yeah, he's talking.
I think it's nice.
Like, we currently have the bag cage over there, he just pretty much basically saying, put a cover over it, but it's because, we have the bag cage over there that's behind the tennis court. And so like the original plan I would do is, split the court up like most said, is split up, we have one side where you can have multiple use for basketball on one side, and you got tennis / pickleball on the other side. So you can, I mean, as you said, it's 125, you got executive space, so it's a huge space, and you can convert it to whatever you kind of want to. But like I said, that's something that you want to prepare for the future by writing those grants, writing those, the second one, I mean, the Pickens County Recreation Grant and things like that. And it's another grant too that's put out, it's part and land the water and yeah, so all of those type of things can go towards to fixing. One detail about what we're going to do, how we're going to do it. And so that's why I say, let's try to come up with a solution to fix the problem now. Develop a master plan for what we want to do. 2-3 years, I mean, everything's not gonna be done. So we want to focus on, trying to finish up, I mean, each year focus on one particular object to do with that particular site. I think that'd be great as well. Those meeting the fights, phases, phases out. That's, we work on this next plan for Freedom Park, it shows a bunch of, it has a lot of phases that you know to correct first before you move into jumping right into it. So it's a learning process, like I said, I never had to do this before. It's a learning process, but when I get it, I got it. I got it. So any more questions about the
Do we have any final information from the Jeep rally?
Financially, I'll tell them, go, I gotta get him the numbers, I know that, we made, I think, almost, it was 1,900, I think I said, but like 1,900. Yeah, I was just, we had, which was our first event, and we're gonna talk about this, our first event, we had a lot of praise for the chief people that registered, things like that, the process is very, very good. They love the fact that it was on the football field, it wasn't like to say that, we made Walhalla look like, Walhalla was terrible. So we had 50, I believe we had about 50 times, like push your I know it was 25, yeah, we had 5 weekend. And so what we're doing is trying to, we had people that registered online, we had people registered on the site, so it was kind of big meeting, and then we did a discount for Father's Day, during Father's Day, so potential revenue that we thought we could have gotten from people coming in and giving them the $3 for fathers. Yeah, $2 for fathers and stuff like that, which was nice. I think both came with that up.
Yeah, we didn't realize it was Father's Day weekend, so like,
Yeah, so we
yeah,
got
there's something.
So we, the man, both been talking, me, both, Peggy has been talking about what we need to look into next year. If we host it again, let me know. And then it will, they like how we did it, how we had everything set up, we had everything set up. If y'all was able to come, we appreciate y'all coming. That was a learning process.
Yeah, I just, just a little bit of that. Everyone we talked to struck prices, and we have people from North Carolina come down, had a big chief group from North Carolina. Got some different ideas from them, so looking forward to finding early next year for sure. And, doing some different stuff.
Any other questions on that? Those were the center, I got section four pins, going on like, let's go to the center, Miss Osmo was able to contact, AC guy, she has someone come out, they fixed it, but right now I feel like it's not being touched, it's still humid in there, so, but the AC unit has been fixed, thanks to Ms. Thank you for doing that. And they installed new drug work and things like that, so it was kind of falling apart in the bottom, anybody went downstairs, they saw I checked it. But thank you for that, Southern Park, of course, we installed an EcoPod, hammock, good idea, we gave, for people to come and sit down and relax and read a book and things like that. They check out the hammocks from City Hall, which is another good thing, because they come in and get familiarized with people from City Hall, meet and greet type deal, and then they can check out the hammock, go relax and sit in the Southern Park area. Y'all seen this, a drop by. Thanks to Jeff Massey for helping us put it in and install that, very helpful, because we had no idea how we was gonna put that thing in there. And so we have two more, should we actually work street, we have two more that we're going to locate. One of them we want to locate, like, I think the library is very enough to allow us to do an initiative with them, to start something new, to where they can check out the book, check out the hammock, and go outside in the hammock and sit and relax. The problem we ran into over there right now is that we're running into a bunch of clay or rock or something, and we did when we're using the arbor we did. Mr. Manley here, he went over there and visited with me last week, and we kind of said that we should be okay. The small pea rock, like we've been seeing, that we should be able to continue to drill through. The lady from Mr. Bell from the library said that we can put it in another location if it's not feasible to go in that location. So that we are working on that, and hopefully with a little bit of rain, that we're gonna go back this week and see if they'll soften it a little bit in return. Any questions about what's with Sims on the park? The dugout part is currently, we received the Pickens County Recreation Funds of $27,187.25. All right, if you see the attachment of how much the bid was for the label of attachments for the lighting services. One is from the Greenwood, we have used those, we have used this individual company in the past, and they gave us the best price for LED lighting services at the Morris Field and Dugout Park. Island Field and the water tower field has already been replaced in last year's funding from the grant. This is the only one we did not receive, but we did kind of know how money to receive. So we noticed that the lighting service that they're charging us is going to be $21,850. And next company that we had come out was Premier Lighting. They want to replace the poles, everything that they brought in. With the lighting services from Greenwood, we do not have to replace the poles. The poles are still in good condition. So they just want to use those and change out the lights. And so, with that being said, we actually say we actually made a little money off of it. We can get the numbers and clear the shape so that we would get some money off of it. According to the people of the Pickens County grant, they tell me that if you got it, please use it. And then if you find something else, please use it. If you have anything for you. So that's the plan. Any questions about that one? Here. I don't want to call. The city stadium needed a new door for the latest version, and we did. I went and purchased one from Lowe's. The portion that was at interior, not exterior door. And speaking with Scott, he told me that we need to get that exterior commercial grade metal door. Those normally range from about 1,000, from 900 to about 1,200, I think that's about 15, I think we kind of look at it. So we came up with another solution. We went about $140 piece of sheet metal, since it's very expensive. It's got, cut and made it fit the bottom of the way it was tearing with it. It's coming apart and he put some rivets, rivet gun, his personal rivet gun he bought from home. And then he fixed that. He looked very well for July celebration. So that's one solution. And I told Katie in the future, we got to start preparing maybe to purchase commercial exterior. But for the time being, it looks all like what it did. It's all yes, sir.
If you had a little left over from the grant from the lights, the fair basics behind the stadium, and the box.
Yeah,
Which what's that for that project as well?
I'm not gonna say yes or no. Let me contact at the county, because like I said, I don't want to, before I purchase anything, I always contact him, like, yes, some type of level.
I don't know if he's using it would be in the same part.
You work with Simon.
Yes.
Yeah, he'll let me.
Yeah, Tyler, I had the same thing when my first year we did that grant, I had like 10 grand left over. And I called Tyler, I was like, what do I do with this money? Do I send it back to you or can we use it to go sort something else? He said, as long as it's regulated and it's, at that time, it was regulated. And that's how we got the new LED lights installed and make it up. That's so that's city, so that's city stadium, Mills Gym, and the city gym actually started their first and preparing for the future. We start thinking about preparing for the new fixing the AC unit on the right side. I believe the right side AC unit, that's the one that needs has a bad pressure in it. And I think the complete air came out and did the inspection and looked at it. And so if you look at the quotation, the quote that they said that they gave was how much new compressor will cost. It's right around $5,200. So that's like that production. That's just somebody came out and looked at it. He said it's 2017 goal for 2017. They're not even 10 years old yet. And so the issue, but also if you look at, they still do issues, you get that person gates. One on the right side, like I said, that one's something like that right here. One of the other unit is really good condition and said there's nothing really wrong, just keep it maintained, make sure it's like water. And so that came to look at our roofing for the city gym as well. Our roof had a 45 come out and kind of look over it and tell me what's going on with it, because we have been having a lot of serious leaks. So he said that a lot of the issues becoming because that the material, 60s, I believe it was made, that material is starting to deteriorate. And what it is that some type of PVC material, I'm not quite sure exactly what he's trying to explain to it. It's starting to flake the top of the roof. And so the material is leaking, the water is leaking through, now it's leaking on top of the material, it's on top of the inside. And he said that material, you cannot replace it at all. He said that material is very expensive, very expensive. He said in order to save it now, is that we need to start preparing for a new roof. But he could put something down in order to fix it, to keep the leaks from not going on right now. So that's one thing that that I got on my list to try to prepare for as well. Like, honestly, a lot of stuff I got on my list, I just mentioned it to y'all right now, but once we develop master plans to try to fix these solutions in these situations, then we come back and try to really hash it out.
This,
I'm not throwing anything curveball.
the part that's cracked, is that the roof cap? The vent roof cap at the top, is that what's cracked?
It doesn't have a point, okay. So it's flat.
It's like a TP, it's like a TP style. Right?
Yeah.
So I mean, to be honest, I didn't go up there, I'm afraid of heights, so I'm not. You know, that's in
Got enough, we could put some kind of frame up there to fix something real high, you know what I'm
I mean, he fixed it for me. I mean, it was not like a relative huge amount to fix it. I mean, I just wanted to make sure that, because The goal was when the hurricane came through, I had to come out and look at it then, was to use the, the insurance funding to take care of the situation at the time. Because that's so basically they started leaking the most. And so, we had to come out and look at it and they fixed it. But he's under kind of warranty type deals. And when he came out, he fixed a couple spots and then other spots started opening up and then we started noticing it. And so it's just kind of like, when it comes to roof, either you're gonna do it one time or don't do it and just keep patching. It's gonna patch, you'll be patching it. So,
You know, we don't fix it, eventually, like some major problem. That's one of those things that if you say anything, that's what I find out. Well, it's things like that. You can't take a chance or something like that. I would suggest that we try to do it sooner rather than later, so you can take out.
That's all about insurance, what's different about this.
Like a CP style, they do them on a lot of commercial buildings, and it's not cheap, and you really can't repair it once it gets to a certain point, you just gotta replace it.
I heard guys we didn't see today had 30-40 year lives, and only 10 people, use of what I would recommend you get some prices. Yeah, they're one of the cost fixing, but what's that thing starts leaking and the damage starts forward.
Yeah, see, things like that. And let me mention that because we have seen, I haven't seen that the wax where it was driven and the wax has actually started coming off. So when it's about that time for us to re-wax our floors, we try to wax them twice a year.
You must have let me make a big surprise on what the cost of fix it right.
Once again, I think that it's something that I want to have the city engineer come out and look at. Like I say, it's beyond my scope. I have no idea. I'm afraid of heights. I have my own place in my house. I call my brother. So, just things like that. But that's pretty much it. Mills Avenue, gym, we've been having some issues keeping it cool. We contacted multiple times, we contacted my Sky Alexander, contacted Scott Chastain to go out there and check it out. For some reason, the new units keep wanting to be reset and we don't understand why. And those units are less than 3 years old. They should not be doing that. And we took a picture of the wiring, sent it to Scott, and we haven't heard anything back. So we think it could be something with the wiring to where it should hit them and keep them, so we got to keep that facility moved. We have over 100 cheerleaders in that gym. These 3 4 lights. So that gym is very hot. So we want to make sure that's taken care of. I want to pass it out. So we do have things. Don't get me wrong, I ain't letting anyone sweat. We have huge fans that we take over there and we have them blasted, but it doesn't do any justice or whatever. When you got 100 kids in one space, it's not temperature rises, so we're putting this stock. So we already talked about the Mark grant, we mentioned about the Mark grant earlier, biggest county federation grant, talk about that as well. I've got a few maintenance things that's coming up, and I will be getting that to follow the correct with the procurement policy to try to get these items. I noticed, talked to my maintenance guys, and they said that we are down to 1 meter. Scott does his best to try to fix things as much as possible. But sometimes you just gotta let dog out. That's what I'm going. Let dog out. 2 dogs have to go away. So that's one thing we talk about. We talk about resend to resend the photo setting. So we're looking at the 2 things I gave Scott. I reached out to him to go in contact with him to reach out to somebody else. So I gave Scott that number to reach out to somebody at the county. And I have to get back with him and make sure his mother had surgery last week, so he's going to be out next week. So I reached out back to him, but we did go, we did talk to Brandon and Mary, remember how much a truckload of sale cost. The number was outrageous. I thought it was like $1,300. I said, Brandon, you lost your mind. I said, I can talk to you another time. So we're going to contact the county to see if we can something done right here. Grass seed is always something important that we need to buy to keep our business presentable for all the schools. And so that's another thing. I think the average cost of a 50-pound combination blend grass seed is $69.99. Is that right? $69. Yeah, so that's, we probably typically need about 4 or 5, maybe about 4 or 5 bags to be able to see everything we need with that. Any questions about anything for, negative fees? Athletic fees, the next thing that I have on my topic, I need to order some extra helmets. We had some kids, some kid sizes, very small than normal. So I had to order 6 XXL, is it XXL? Yeah, XXS, I'm sorry. Extra small. So that's how small it really was. So, and typically, according to the guideline that I got from my former high school coach at Paul Seller, he said you typically want to purchase between 5 and 6 helmets every year because they have a 10-year lifespan. And that way it saves you have to purchase, spend $10,000 over time, rather than spending $1,000 every year or so, depending on what you need. So we have done, updated our inventory, so I know exactly what we need and what we're getting rid of. Miss Baker, Ashley, yeah, she did all my inventory, to make sure that we have what we need and what we going to need in the future. It's also a big thing. And y'all do know athletics, jump in the hat, I may have to go buy a bucket of baseball or something because sometimes it just happens. You never know what's going to happen. You got to be prepared to be able to purchase something as quick as possible. But that's what we need in the future. We need to look at replacing all our shoulder pads, which are the pads that the kids wear up under the jersey. So we need to replace those. They were $70 a piece for each shoulder pad. And at some point, like I said, a lot of stuff has just been neglected. So they use the stuff back when I played in 1998. Look like the equipment, the type of equipment they use, they upgraded equipment since then, long. So that's something else I need that we will get together. And those numbers are just, and I know with the procurement policy, some of that stuff is kind of limited where you can purchase it from. Because of, when it comes to football equipment, you only got 2 or 3 major manufacturers. You got Rodale, Schutt, and maybe somebody else. And Rodale normally typically be getting the best price overall. But I mean, I will follow our policy like it's supposed to, but it just won't be kind of like, I know who will give us the best price and the quality and the safety aspects of it. So there's something like that. And a lot of the stuff is just like, I had a text sheet, but Tom, we saw more. That's something I'll bring up at a later date. Because I want to make sure that I have all my information together for the procurement policy. Make sure that we got 3 quotes and all that stuff too. So if y'all have any questions, but in sorry, testimony, I have a lot of it.
You know, I did. It's on the outside staircase that you know. That's a safety concern,
Yes, sir.
because it's the emergency exit for the building. So when is the city? Because the building's too. So the Troy is going to come out and evaluate that.
Yes, so the
Safety issues, safety, and
I mean, we both, we know it's a safety issue, so it's just like, we won't have them come out to that. We do have the information, I do have a post for it, we have people that came out and looked at it, I got a post for every staircase that needs to be fixed. Technically, we need to add a new staircase to the city gym because we're supposed to have 3 ADA stuff with a capability of exit. We only got 2 in the city. So that's another thing too. So, yes, we're very aware. I have a folder right now with all the information of the focus. But the question is, do we really want to, let's step back and be able to follow all of our policies and procedures correctly. And so I said, that's the nice time to get the city engineer involved, let him come out and give us an assessment, develop that plan, and then go forward and put it on schedule for people to come out and get it. I mean, it's going to be a process. Right now, we got a lot built like we had before. There is no access to the top of that building. So that building, in order for you to use a lot of those upstairs, you have to go upstairs from the inside to the outside. That is locked off. It's locked. You're not allowed to go upstairs at all. So, and only once the building's only occupied 3 to 4 nights a week at night.
Is that a good?
Yes, sir. From 5 to 5. I say it's 9 to 10, depending on how long they're practicing. So, yeah, we have taken all the precautions we possibly can to keep people here.
I'm just thinking that somebody could easily come and shut down the gym.
Oh,
It wouldn't take much.
yeah, and I'll,
So
Give it take that, before you come out and look at it.
oh, no, because I want to make sure you want to do the second proper training.
Let's have it.
Because when I called him, I want to be able to come out and get one of the facilities as well. That's it. I don't know how he gets paid, but I don't want to bug somebody to keep coming every 5 minutes. When if I got a bunch of projects and you come look at it, that's what he can do. Any questions?
Thank you. As in, public works director.
A whole lot changed in the public works and utility department. They didn't see in my report, I've kept some things in from last month. Mainly because I wasn't able to attend the meeting, well, these things. But the utility department, they're 3 water leaks and those stop holes for blockage. None of those blockages require any repair. We do continue sewer water repairs as well as routine washing. Feel like a routine maintenance washing cuts like and the amount of unnecessary calls for sudden blockages. We did 39 reports and 61 project tickets. We plan to begin higher flushing in September. Also, as well as during this, we'll be locating and exercising many valves in the area related to the hydrant itself or the water lines. Feed the hydrants. Both of those are required by DHEC every 3 years. You don't have to do it every hydrant every year. So you can break it up as long as we're doing in 3 years. The main objective of the utility department right now is our sewer system. I don't know if anybody was familiar or if you've had trouble in your area, but what I have found is our sewer system is in very bad shape. It's probably 20 years behind what it should be. So I have a plan in place early fall, and we'd like some early fall. I've talked to the South Carolina Rural Water Association, again, to come and assist with manhole smoking. That will help, find, any road of breaks or cracks in line, because the way our infiltration in. I haven't got an accurate number as far as gallons from the county, but from what I gather, there's a lot of island that makes it to a Davis County. At some point, probably in there. So I'm hoping Rural Water can help us start in the oldest area of town. Once we just pick a script, so to speak, then we can have engineer come and look, give us scope of work, his thoughts on cost, and what we're going to work. But right now, in the utility department, apart from our daily, work orders and water works that occur, I got the public works picked up 16 tons of wood, 1 pack on the front wheels. As always, we're constantly cutting grass in the field right away. They started cutting the grass on the road right away. Any road in town to go. Road right away needs to be cut, overhanging freelands. So that's a big part of public works. Areas. So we finally got a scope of work and a estimated tentative price on Burn Street and what's happening is there's a lot of stormwater runoff coming from one. If, they cross over the road and find its way to a ditch that connects the two roads and pulls up to end Burn Street. Met the engineer out there several weeks ago. And the plan is to start on Burn Street and work our way backwards to give that water somewhere to go. Along with the water that sits in the road, puddles up in the road, it's just gonna continue to get away from the road. I've talked with the Darrell, he's gonna get me in contact with somebody that can, hopefully help us fund this project. I'm hoping that we can have the runoff work done as well as have low street, low streets really need to get back. Working on a list now of priority roads in the city, these are very research. Probably can't do a fraction of them. That can be started. And that's it as far as question.
Yes, sir. It's about an old storm that both directions, it is general function. The fire, it's not that. And I know we've been talking about a while, so we're just packing 2 to 3 weeks. Do we have plans to try to get that back online? It was good for
Probably not before the school start. Only solution that I could find is we searched for a valve, kept that line on. I asked some previous employees that used to be here for a while. They don't know where the one is. I know the one is supposed to be, but never detected, can't find it. Only solution I know is an insertion valve. Last time I got a quote from one of those, about $6,000. Well, he knew where it was supposed to be. I don't know if it's been paid over, and, if it's on anywhere close to 93, it should be on what I asked for.
And that's over there. It's uptown. Back online.
Yes, we know it needs to be replaced. We do have extra items at the yard. It's finally good time.
Excuse me, there's one at, West Front and Southfield Press.
Yes, it's same
Is that the same issue?
issue. Because I live on the same road as we. Not being able to find the valve that controls the shut down. We can't even find the valves. And I hate to say we can't find it. But they haven't been able to locate the valve and they can kill mine. So we have an issue there. I'm trying to avoid going all the way back to the water. If that causes a real big issue. I don't want to fill the water line, then you got all kinds of steps you got to follow.
So does that include the fire hydrant behind the school? There is one behind the school that's by the house. Is that one not working?
There's about 3 in that immediate area.
So that one's not covered. That's the reason I asked.
It's not covered.
It's not covered. There's houses back there. There's a school. So does that mean that the school doesn't have water going to its fire department connection?
I'm not sure, probably. They're just fed off. It's fed off the same line, just a different county. So
Question.
yes, sir.
And before we let you go, if you want to run through, the recent, trip that you guys took with the mini excavator really quick.
I don't know if you'll have a chance to look it over. So I spoke to this company about the excavator. And at the time, when we were discussing it, he told me a quote for $54,855. I know we budgeted $70,000 Once the budget was passed, he had brought to my attention by a side by side, they added in at the time of the deal. I don't know if y'all have seen, I know Mr. Bowden, Mr. Carroll have seen our younger here. I've seen 3 road shape. 4 drive that close even more. Honestly, it takes a special combination for everything. So it's really go out, I would make it so that you can't get anything out of the moment. So after speaking with him and looking over everything, he was able, I think it's 40 back. He gave me a $2,500 trade-in, so he gave it. The UTV is their 10-motor model. He quoted me, at a price of $1,000. And it's a 4-seater for 2 of them. He quoted me the price, or gave me the price for a single road or a 2-seater. It is their demo, it's got 110 hours on it, but it will come with a 3-year, 3,000 hour same as the SUV. So I'm just asking, if we could tie those 2 together, make that $75,000.
The existing gator. What conditions your existing gator in? For the existing gator, I'm sorry, I mean. The existing gator, the year, what kind of conditions are in? But you're over there, they reach across the, over there, they were having trouble getting the star, that we pulled up and put it on.
So I looked up the product identification number, I couldn't find the exact year, but that model was manufactured in 2004, 2012, so it's a bit 14. And they're willing to give $500 trade.
And this is all state contract pricing.
There's a quote there, there's state contract vendor license. Quick question. Do you, I mean, obviously you feel like you really need to sign up the utility forever. Oh, yes. And do you, like you said, you exactly the budget, he just brought that to you later, it wasn't like you would do anything. It was after the budget, and me and him, talked about it beforehand, and I definitely could have included it. This was kind of something that was just brought to me after the fact. So after talking about it, and looking at everything, I feel like it's a good deal. Everybody's on board. But we could definitely use the new side, so it could be used for events. Main thing we use it for is our water and sewer railways, and we don't need to take a truck down there because not all of them through the floor pick up truck that we can throw a chainsaw, things in the back and do 20 on. And then it's for, I was gonna say too, I mean, actually, we see like prepping and have 4 people on there that can go around and around the trucks and like that. So it's much reliability. And you can actually put salt on the back of those, put salt.
It all then just goes to the $70,000 budget. Honestly, I would recommend both of those, with it, as long as they can scope the approved budget first. But I mean, we'd be able to declare that surplus for the trade-in or for that process, it's probably.
But I've got those to the end of all the department. Everybody's on.
And, the hydrant, over there, I think the brakes, they were, there's a question. That hydrant had water, it just didn't have water. When I tested it, it's almost like there's a valve, but it's cracking valve, or always a pressure valve.
I'm too, but that's fine. I see we're having
I
trouble.
don't have any water coming in, no need to do water. And I brought that up too, so we can see. Okay. I started across from right here.
Yes, runs.
It's in that flower bed.
I am.
And then the one on Odell, when I tested it, it was already out of service on the house. So that's, had a bag, had
Well, usually with the mom standing, they would contract, I would work there. I don't feel that's necessary anymore. We do the work we have, the items that's going. One on Odell, it's finally good time to shut the water down. It don't have a valve that controls it, but it shut the main line down. Now, once we got all these items back online, every one of them would have a valve where you could isolate it in.
would you put a line down, you have shot it, so you can isolate it, having to see, turn it, knock it off.
I'm a big area repair. Yeah, the putting as many valves on the line as you can. That's right. Absolutely.
To kind of make these fires, probably, one of them is, I mean, all problems and like that. So the way we kind of prioritize, kind of get these things back online, because if we get a fire, I hate, lose a house or get hurt because we didn't get back. Had to show the water, I don't know, if that's the case or.
I will reach out again about the quote for that instruction valve. I only know of one company around here that does it. That may, I know the company, out of holiday service. That's pretty much the only thing I know, but I will go look through and see if I can find somebody to.
Yeah, I don't know if we can help with it. West Front Street and Somerville. This is actually a quick, I'm sorry, all of you. I had a citizen several months back, reach out, driving Italian. Should have mentioned to you.
I'll have to do this.
I got this, I said, so much great job. I tell you, they get good back.
And I do have one more question. You should have talked about hydrants, right? A lot of our valve inlets. Right? Is there any way to get concrete collars to put in our valve?
Yeah, it definitely helps.
You know, when that was stated from one city or the state or whatever exactly that. But tearing out the valve boxes. Easier to learn to take it, take it, easier. I don't think it's not that much.
Now, this was probably 6, 7 years ago, 6 inch for the valve. I think they were $83. I said, that's 6 inch.
I know shipping for the right rooms for this long.
I was buying those from,
And consolidate too.
I was buying those from Ferguson. Maybe a concrete company close by, maybe. Goes to the roof. I went to Ferguson just so they had so many of them and they were so many of them.
Right. That would be a good one. That would be a kind of, I don't know. I agree.
One more thing I'm letting you, it's about the mini special one, where everybody knows it's enclosed. It's pretty much a full loaded mini X, it does come with 3 hour warranty. They do have a lot of parts in their warehouse. I did some price checking around, I thought I had one between they beat it, but it wasn't enclosed. I was actually for the same price, and then they couldn't match the side by some YouTube, so. We got to talk to the owner and some other people, they were really nice guys. For the kind of work that he's gonna be using for, I don't think that it's not like it's all reviews, basically, it's like the best thing. I feel pretty good.
Then what's the plan with the backfill that we have? We can just put that up for option or?
For that backhoe still be used. On bigger jobs, I can see it being used for, sewer jobs. They will have to dig deeper than this many X will allow us to do. It's very helpful in moving trees, especially on right of ways. You have a fallen tree in the road, you just need to open the roadway up, that back up to just shove it on the road until you start planting.
There is plans long term, still the oldest back there. They say, I think that's why.
Okay.
And there's also one. So this company too also told us that they would do any servicing on any of our equipment, even if it wasn't their main brand. So he's got a skid steer there, needs new tracks and some other stuff, so we talked about maybe working on getting for something like that, so we can get that back up and order. And then that would be something itself, so everything you can use that as much.
Yeah, if we can get the skid steer in better running condition, then bring it pretty recently.
And then overhanging trees that you were talking about, that could be trimmed up. Are we using the trash routes or the brush routes? Use the brush truck. Using the brush truck as the guidance to see how high it needs to be. So if the brush guys are running into trees, those are the easy ones to mark and say, let's get them on this.
We get a lot of calls from radio, so I say, hey, they're running over the trim. Actually, school district. Sending a list out there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Center Police Chief.
Of June, 211 morning, 158 citations for residents, 7, they're all renewed for code increase to 30. Research materials followed up, and currently working with businesses and residents to correct the issues. Community events. We attended the Central PD Community Outreach Fun Day. It's a good time, very good turnout. Also did it on their own time. Outreach provided traffic safety support during the community yard sale. Assisted with traffic control and event security during the first annual peak show. I thought that was really good too. Training, victim advocate Howard attended the South Carolina Law Enforcement Victim Advocates Legal Training on June 2nd. That same day, Officer Ben Perry successfully completed the Glock Gen 5 law enforcement course. He now has the proficiency required to inspect, maintain, and troubleshoot and service all our Glock service pistols in accordance with their standards. June 4th, Sarah Howard attended the START meeting for safe designation and some training, answer knowledge and setting up coordinated response practices and agency requirements to further support victims and training victim advocacy services. Then on the 16th and 18th, all the members of the police department attended the basic patrol rifle course hosted by the police department training, which is something that we needed, and we were able to purchase duty ammunition for our rifles now and outfit them in their vehicles. Received a quote from CNT Ford, which is on state contract for 2 police Ford Interceptor utility all-wheel drive vehicles. In one of their quotes, they added upfitting, which I don't believe I supplied to the administrator side one, because that is not under the lease option that we had discussed. Should have a copy of that. For the Sport 2027 Ford Police Interceptor all-wheel drive, going to go bigger, Eco Boost 6 inches. Get better resale out of that after the lease is up. The cost included in the quote, they added 5-year, 100,000 mile full cover warranty. It's $24.19 each vehicle, which I think that's a loss. We have a Durango that we put $5,000 in after it was over 3 years old, and it was under 100,000 miles. Robbie at CNT was able to get in contact with First Government Lease Company, Ford. I looked at Ford lease program. Both discussed with us. It's pretty much the same thing, but Robbie said that the First Government Lease actually has better rates now. With it's basically $1 buyout at the end. Enterprise doesn't have. The numbers on the First Government Lease, you should have a copy as well. The only thing that's not included in that is the extra almost $5,000 for the extended warranty. But that still would bring us under what we're allotted for $1,500 a month. In the 2 vehicles without a thing. Still working on getting prices for upfitting. And because some of the prices are very expensive. One of the quotes that they sent me that another agency got was $22,500 upfitting.
Something from both.
Usually,
$22,500 to upfit one vehicle.
Well, I thought I heard it. Go check it.
It's almost half the price of the vehicle. This year with Enterprise, we have one lease that expired 8/31/26. And 4 more that expired 12/31/26. Because we just way over what the lease should have been. They're 19 miles and 20 miles. Any questions?
So, just real quick, so can we move forward getting the Explorers without having the outfit, or we have to, we're gonna have to have that thing?
Right now, though, you're looking at about a 3-month wait period to get those, so you're looking at probably November before they can be delivered. So we can purchase them before outfitting and we just have to deliver to the outfitter.
You said you got 4 coming in, not release at the end.
For leases that are up at the end of the summer.
So the total for, without the warranty, if I'm correct, that's 103, 108, is that correct? And then 21, 49, 55, without the warranty monthly for both vehicles? I just want to make sure I'm getting this right.
The 103, 108 is with the full coverage warranty.
It is the total. You have, it's $1,500 a month per vehicle. 3,000 for both. And right now, we at, I'm correct, 21, 49, 65. For both vehicles.
Without the warranty.
See what would be good.
I couldn't do that with the percentage wise.
Yeah, I was trying to make it real quick.
You're better at that now. It would still come in under the $1,500 a piece. You're looking at 6.25% on basically $25 on each.
Turn out for that.
Everybody else good?
Thank you.
All right, before we move to department head reports, since each department head, before we move to previous report, since each department head has requested various things, I do need to, I would like to make a motion to amend the agenda to add these items. So it would be resolution 2026-02, which would be the resolution of the city of Liberty, South Carolina, approving the purchase and financing of 2 2026 Ford Police Interceptor utility all-wheel drive vehicle patrol vehicles for a grand total of 103, 108, or 21, 49, 65 a month plus warranty, which is below $1,500 a month per vehicle budgeted and the 26-27 fiscal operating budget. I would also like to add resolution number 2026-03, which is a resolution of the city of Liberty, South Carolina, approving the purchase of the Toyota, I say that correctly, mini excavator and UTV for the grand total of $68,475. And a resolution number 2026-04, approving the county funds that were given to us by the county for the purchase of $21,850 worth of lighting services.
We added some our ordinance requires us to designate surplus, if trading in there as surplus.
For the 2,500.
Yeah, it's on, our ordinance requires, so we really show the disposable assets.
Right.
Raise so we put that in there.
Mary, how did that work out? Because it's just a big part of it. Probably about 3, including the trade in. Yeah. Okay, so amend the 2026-03, approving the purchase of the mini excavator and the TV for the grand total of $68,475, including trade in of $2,500 worth of city equipment.
List that.
Okay, so I'm making a motion, I'm calling for a second. Any discussion on adding those items to the agenda?
We can list the two, the mini X and the UTV, we'll set out separately or not?
Yeah, so it can all be in one resolution, it's all from the same department. And it's going from the same line item budget.
What was the reason for not just having this in the agenda in the beginning of these aspects, but we can still see
That's when we put the agenda together. And we don't really want to wait too much longer to do these things because they were needed things for the departments.
I just don't like to have resolutions and things to vote on. I don't see it in front of us.
Those are,
So, to me, I really want to have some.
yeah, correct. These were all budgeted items. Yeah.
But even with the cash flow. That was the balance.
Yes.
And would you include in the motion that, as the circumstances of all of them are brought a little bit late to fill?
That's why I'm entertaining the motion to have these, because they were brought to us. Late. But there are things that we don't want to wait on, and why they were approved in the budget.
Your motion is to add to the agenda,
Yes.
and then we'll have to go on from there.
Then you'll have to go through the items. Okay, all in favor of adding these to the agenda? Okay, so now we'll go ahead and go down through each items, and I apologize, gotta go for each of them. Making a motion to adopt resolution number 2026-02, resolution of the city of Liberty approving the purchase and financing of the two 2026 Ford Police Interceptor Utility all-wheel drive patrol vehicles in an amount not to exceed 103,108, financed over a 5-year term with estimated monthly payments of $21,4965 plus warranty. And following first. Any discussion?
So you're gonna add in the warranty on top.
Correct, not to exceed $500.
Is there a way we can just pay that?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear with the family.
With the warranty, is there, instead of trying to add that into our payment, is there a way we just pay that money? I straight up just pay for the warranty instead of having to add into our monthly payment?
No,
That would be a chunk of money to budget at the beginning, we're gonna pay up to that.
it's something,
It's not budgeted for that. You're paying 5 years worth of payments and putting it in for one payment. That wasn't budgeted.
It's all like $4,000, I'm just understand why we can just pay for the warranty instead of having this, sign out.
He wants me to make you aware that it is a lease, sorry.
Yes. Sorry, I'm like. I actually, because they have to get some vehicles with a blade in a few months. All right, all in favor? And then I also take a motion to adopt resolution number 2026-03, a resolution of the city of Liberty approving the purchase of the Toyota mini excavator and UTV for the grand total of $68,475, including a $2,500 trade-in of the gator. And I'm calling for a second. Any discussion on that? All in favor? One more. Oh, yeah. Resolution number 2026-04, approving of the county funds for the purchase of $21,850 for lighting services. And I am calling for a second on that. Any discussion? All in favor? Approve this request. All right, we'll go ahead and move right to deputy administrator reports. Please, Sizemore.
Mayor Wagner and I had the opportunity to meet with Congresswoman Sherry Biggs for a networking lunch at Open Bistro. It was a great opportunity to get to know one another, discuss the needs of our community, and continue building a strong relationship between the City of Liberty and our congressional delegation. The EPA brownfields update, environmental assessments continue to move forward on several city-owned properties. Asbestos abatement will be required for the old City Hall building, the water treatment center, and the Rosewood Center before any renovations and or demolition activities can begin. Lead-based paint was identified at the former City Hall, the water treatment center, the pavilion structure at the baseball fields, and the Rosewood Center. Asbestos was detected at all of those properties except the baseball fields. None of the properties would require a project design. However, both the former City Hall and the Rosewood Center will require third-party air monitoring during the removal of asbestos-containing materials. Other project updates include 28 West Front Street, Phase 1 ESA has been completed, and we are currently awaiting EPA approval to proceed with the Phase 2 assessment. 113 West Front Street, Phase 1 has been completed and EPA has approved the Phase 2 assessment. The mill site, the Phase 1 ESA is currently underway. I want to give another shout out to Councilwoman Cantley for putting so much effort into getting in touch with the mill property owner. This grant has definitely taken the village to get where we are, and I thank you. Does anyone have any questions on EPA? Okay. Pickens Regional Joint Water System. Last month, the Pickens Regional Joint Water System Board voted on a proposed budget totaling $193,915. This would increase contributions across the board members by a total of $90,915. Mayor Wagner and I voted against the proposed increase because we were not provided with sufficient documentation detailing how the additional funding would be utilized. We did not vote in favor of this, but the budget was approved by the board ultimately. Does anyone have any questions about that? Okay, business license update. Business license renewals continue to be one of Sierra's priorities. Currently 37 out-of-city businesses have not renewed their business license, along with 3 businesses located within the city limits. I would like to thank Sergeant Thomas for assisting with enforcement efforts for our in-city businesses. Sierra has also sent certified letters to the remaining businesses that have not yet renewed. She's going to send out one more email before we start the assessment process that comes with doing their business licenses. Any questions? Hospitality tax update. I'm pleased to report that all businesses remitted their hospitality tax payment on time for the month of June. In the water department, we're excited to welcome Alex Whitlock as a new utilities clerk. Alex is a Liberty local, and we are excited to have her join the team. As she learns our software and procedures, we just ask our citizens to please be patient during the transition. Due to the recent software issues and staff turnover within the water department, no late penalties or service disconnects will be applied to customer accounts during this transitional period. Are there any questions about that? Okay. I would like to extend a sincere thank you to Flat Rock Baptist Church, Whitby Mortuary, and Greenville Water for sponsoring our 4th of July celebration. This was Sierra's first event managing from start to finish, and she did an outstanding job planning and executing a successful event for our community. Thank you, Sierra, for your hard work and dedication. It's not unnoticed. I also want to recognize the rest of our staff who spent countless hours working in the summer heat to make sure that the event ran smoothly. We appreciate everyone and what they did for our community. Good job to Coach Black and Councilman Foley for a great Jeep show. It looked like there was a great turnout. I'm looking forward to having more of those in the community. On June 30th, all staff members who make purchases participated in procurement training conducted by Rob Wolf, our MASC local rep. Following that training, we implemented an internal procurement process and checklist for all purchases under $2,500 and over $2,500 to ensure consistency, compliance, and proper documentation. And I did include you guys in that email this morning. I hope you all had a chance to look at it. To date, the city has not had any purchases this fiscal year that required a formal competitive bidding process. However, we are prepared and trained to do this when the time comes. Thank you for your patience while we figure out how to move from common practice to policy. As far as the safety committee goes, we had our first official safety meeting this month where we discussed items such as expanding our safety initiatives to be available to the public as well. Sergeant Freeman is looking into what it would take to become car seat certified, so we can offer this to our citizens. I believe the closest location that is that has someone who's certified is the Easley Fire Department. So I think this would be a great thing for our community. We plan to also have virtual safety training required for all staff. We've reached out to the fire chief, and he also plans to come out and assist in fire drills for every location that the city has employees. We also plan to update building evacuation plans and update smoke alarms throughout all buildings. We're also waiting to see if there's any money left in the SMRF matching safety grant to be reimbursed, to reimburse the city for the AED and the other safety equipment that was purchased in June. That's all I have. Any questions? Perfect.
All right, we'll go ahead and move into council comments. Councilmember John Creed.
Sure, was good to start. The items we discussed, the one thing I did want to talk with the public works is thank you very much for the new process for brush pickup. Makes perfect sense. And to do it on those 2 days, and I can tell you that in the areas I've seen brush, it's picked up immediately. It's great, and I appreciate that. So that worked out really well. So good job on it. I wanted to also recognize it's not June, it's the July thing, but 4th of July, we have the first golf cart parade joint event over at Lakewood Heights. And they have their own golf cart event, but we kind of interjected into it and made a more community thing, and it was awesome. It was a great time to have people together, so I look forward to seeing the golf cart extension of time to be able to travel added hopefully to the August work session. This will be done between the July or August work sessions, so I look forward to seeing you next month. I've been told and been invited to the Christmas in July. That will occur this Friday night. It will happen, in conjunction with, I believe it's the Penalty Candy Company and the Scoop and No Vacancy, or the Scoop, wrong one, Scrape the Plate. So that's completely the right one. So Scrape the Plate, No Vacancy, and Penalty Candy Company, trying to draw people downtown for Friday night. Be a nice little event to do some stuff and see. I heard that Santa Claus might be in the area, so if you know some people with some youngsters, Santa Claus might just happen to be in the area Friday night. The time is 6 to 9, and Santa, I believe, is there from 6 to 7. And lastly, I'll just bring up another issue because I see it screen over here, but I'll bring up the TV screen with that. It would be really nice to have the TV screen during the work session we had last week or so. We were talking about having it so we could see the tree we were talking about on the property. So I think there's some work already being done. Yes.
I thought Ms. Petty, she's on the mountain, is coming tomorrow. You gonna put it in the middle of the city.
Sweet. I think it's very useful when we're doing presentation material or anything that we're looking at as a group. We can see it, that everybody can see it here, and the audience members, all of you out there can see that also. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but it's possible, I guess. So for that, I'll leave it at, I had an extended conversation today with Rob Wolf. He's a very interesting guy and a very knowledgeable person. You guys said that you were doing some training with him, testing. He's a very knowledgeable guy. We just had a very lengthy but detailed conversation about it. So thank you.
Councilmember Wallace.
I have more of a couple of questions. One thing is the NASC meeting this week. Is anybody attending that?
I'm a little bit on Friday. We were gonna try to send the two girls in office, but we can't go back to the service.
So no council members or,
You're welcome to.
I mean, I don't, myself, I'm sorry.
It's not right, buddy. We go.
I really can't, but I mean, I
Some of
think,
the best Friday.
yeah. But I was just curious, I hadn't heard any more about it since. We got that paperwork last, the property on Burns Street we talked about last week, as far as the tree goes. I'm still curious to know how it was determined that the city owns that. It doesn't show on the register of deeds that that property is deeded to the city. So did the city do a title search or has the property, the adjoining property done title search?
I know you've been at it, looked at that.
There was a gentleman that came in and spoke with me and the mayor, and he and Adam went out to Burn Street. And he presented us a bunch of paperwork, and I think Adam has it at the shed. I can get him to scan it over to me, and then I can send it to you guys tomorrow. If I'm remembering correctly, the gentleman that spoke with us, went to the deeds office and the current mayor at the time, forgive me, I can't remember who it was. The current mayor at the time found proof that it was our property.
But we don't have any record of that. I mean, I just want to be sure that we're not paying for something we don't have to pay for.
Yeah,
I mean, if it's not our property, it's not our problem.
yeah. I'll get that paperwork sent over to you.
Okay. What else? Yeah, that's all I have.
Councilmember McCallum.
Since our last regular session, I've submitted ward council concern forms to City Hall for issues in my ward, brought to my attention by constituents and also Councilman Jared Wilson. And I really appreciate your help communicating with constituents, and getting this relayed to me so I can go out and go out to touching with them. This next month, my goal is to follow up again on past tickets, especially ones that we could resolve because I think we need to be next. And I plan to work on writing up a cleanup grant with, hopefully Peggy for the Beatty Street Mill and the businesses downtown. So if we can't find any help actually clean up even after face assessments. And also another personal control for grant writing. Finally, I'm compiling a list of streets for Cat Garage Rescue to prioritize, and we'll get that out to them this week. So please reach out if you know anyone that needs that help, that has finished over cats and need to get to our service. So far, my streets are West Beatty Street, Safari Arms, let me know about that. There's Burn Street, Reed Street, Jeff Madison, just let me know about Mills Avenue. So I don't know if any of you guys know anybody, but I'll have to post on Facebook so I can get rid of those specific streets in the city. But that's all. Thank you.
Councilmember Gerald Wilson.
Yes, I'll be brief, have one quick thing, certainly on the bow and coach. I really enjoyed the Jeep show. It's awesome. First time doing it. So, a lot of great things. I appreciate what you guys are doing in this area, but you're involved as well. On the 4th of July event, awesome event. I enjoyed talking to people. The fireworks show was great. Thank everyone who's involved. I also want to thank the SKD/Adam or whoever come up with the door hanger idea. It's one of the best things you guys have ever come up with. I'm glad to see that you put the brush into the water, the notation for the brush into the water bill the other day. It's awesome. Finally, it's here, your time's back up to be, as clerk, I'll tell you, John, we appreciate what you've done over the past few months. Doesn't go unnoticed. Thank you. That's all I got.
Councilmember Cooley.
Please, I had Mr. Bryant, who had a, drain cover that had, we assumed that it ran over by the Meridian truck, not really sure. It was sitting up and rebar sitting out, and, you know, it's forestry driving for Nationals neighborhood. And I just want to shout out Alan and Miss Sizemore because I literally put in the work order that morning and they had done by 1 o'clock. So they acted very fast because we didn't let any kids to ride the bike and not having fall and get it free. So thank you both. Also I want to shout out to the Jeep Show. Josh put a lot of work into it. Ashley Baker put a lot of work into it. Talked to a lot of great people. They're excited for next year. Some bigger things to go. And then also thank you to Adam for letting us tag along with him to look at the new mini X. And that's all I have. It's not.
Councilmember Massey.
I only had one thing to report. I had a senior Mills Avenue with side. He's having an issue with feral cats, wild cats. He loves to bird watch and they're killing his birds. Running rapid through the neighborhood to get small and his dogs to bark. He has to go on to his fix. The cats are not his cats. They're causing his dogs to bark and it's causing the problem with the neighbors because they're going back to dogs. He understands that this is an issue that can't be fixed overnight. But he would like to see some kind of action taken to show that we're trying. I gave that information over to Mr. Kale to try to see if we can find some kind of solution. Other than that, that's all I got.
All right, we'll go ahead and move on to the mayor's announcements. Over the past several weeks, I've continued meeting with residents and community partners and organizations to move various projects forward and strengthening relationships with our constituents throughout our community. Some of the meetings that I've been involved in have been planning meetings for upcoming events, meetings regarding the Brownfield program as we continue exploring opportunities for redevelopment and economic growth, individual meetings with community members and some local stakeholders to discuss the city initiatives and constituent concerns. Most of what you've heard here, I hate to say it, but most of it I've been involved with in various stages. A few local and state workshops providing opportunities to learn about current legislative and municipal issues impacting cities across South Carolina. Most notably, I was able to attend an advanced, called the 102, I guess, if you will, FOIA training, which clearly enforces how council meetings need to stay on agenda. So we're really trying to keep an eye on that in all of our meetings. Attended the June PRJWS meeting and additional budget meeting on the 30th of June, where Ms. Sizemore and I voted no to the proposed 26-27 budget, citing concerns on lack of documentation that we had actually asked for in the meeting and increased costs to taxpayers. We also had a lunch meeting with Congresswoman Sherry Biggs to discuss how we can work together for the betterment of liberty right down in the Bistro. They had a great lunch. City operations throughout the month. I also participated in several internal meetings. I usually do those on third Fridays to ensure city operations continue moving forward, including monthly department head meetings, interviews for some of the open positions that we currently have. I try to sit in on as many of those as I can. And the bid and procurement process training of Rob from NASC. As you noted, he is a wealth of information. We get that. These meetings have all helped ensure transparency, accountability, and coordination across all departments while keeping our projects on schedule. Looking ahead over the next month, my administration remains focused on preparing for several upcoming community events. We're excited about our Christmas event. We're starting to advertise for it already, coming up, as well as Halloween. Also advancing additional opportunities through the Brownfield program and continuing improvements in city operations and training, collaboration and process, like you guys have seen today with the procurement approval and documentation form. Continuing to meet regularly with residents to ensure their voices remain part of the decision-making process. Having my office in the front, you not waiting for people to walk in the door and just go right into my office and just sit down for a couple minutes. So it's a good place in my office. Thank you to Sierra, staff, council members, volunteers, and community partners for their continued commitment to serving the city of Liberty. A huge shout out to all of them for assisting with the Love My Liberty 4th of July, and it was a very hot day. I know we were all exhausted by the end of the day, but nobody fell out, so we were all good. Over the last month, there have been continued, hey, I was worried all day. There have been continued to be questions about procurement. Hearing these questions, we attended the advanced training with Rob on the 30th, implemented stricter protocols and how the policy is enforced. The lingering pieces of this revolve mostly around donations to events. I know there's been a question in the last week. And organizations, which I would like to discuss as a whole in our August work session. I think we need a better system in place on how we're donating, who we're donating to, and how much year over year, and how that may change. That is it from me on that segment. We'll go ahead and I need a motion to enter executive session. This is for the purposes of discussion of employment, appointment, compensation, promotion, demotion, discipline, or release of an employee if the person regulated by public bodies, or the appointment of a person to a public body. This discussion will concern the structure of the administrative staff duties, and policies related therein. So I am making a motion to enter executive session. Do I have base? There is going to be a second item also. I'll go ahead and run through that. Discussions of negotiations, incident, proposed contractual agreements, discussions of a proposed sale or purchase of property, receipt of legal advice, settlement of legal claims, discussions regarding public agencies' position in adversary situations. So both of those will be covered tonight in our executive session. And do I have a motion? Sorry, that was a lot, right? Okay. And a second? Any discussion? All right, all in favor? Benson?